Usually only see it on the high-end machines.
9,000 watts. No issues at all, and THD is perfect.
We're going to break these engines in properly, and then we're going to put them to the test. You know, this selector between 120 and 240 volts. The other great feature here that I haven't seen before is this 240 volt parallel connection. Easy button. Both machines are online and producing power.
No issues at all, and THD is perfect at 1.1%. And surprisingly, we're hovering at around 71, maybe 72 decibels, which is actually quieter than running at 5,000 watts on a single machine. And without a load, we're starting off very low at 0.4% total harmonic distortion. And at no load, we're pretty quiet at about 60, maybe 61 decibels. And at half load, we're at 1.4% THD. Yeah, it looks like we're hovering at about 65 decibels running at half load. So let's bump this up to 3,000 watts, 4,000 watts, 4,500, 5,000. Okay, everything is rock solid steady, no issues, and THD pretty low at 1.2%. And at full load, we're at 71 decibels, which is still quieter than my voice. This time running on propane. Anyway, without a load, like last time, we are running very clean at 0.4%. Load, we're just below 63 decibels. And THD remains quite low at 1.1%. And at half load, we're at about 70.5 decibels. No issues at all, and THD is perfect at 1.1%. And surprisingly, we're hovering at around 71, maybe 72 decibels, which is actually quieter than running at 5,000 watts on a single machine. And some of you guys may have already noticed the difference between these two machines. The one here on the right, it is a dual fuel generator, which means it can run on propane or gasoline. So up above, we have the fill for the gas tank. We also have an access panel to the spark plug. And if we come over here to the tri-fuel machine, we have the exact same setup up above and the same fuel inlet below. The difference is you can change the metering to run on natural gas or propane. And as far as the control panels go, they are virtually identical. The only difference is that on the dual fuel, you have the fuel selector switch. Otherwise, they are the same. So we're going to focus in on this one and just cover what everything is and what it does. This machine has some pretty standard features. All the outputs, they are organized here on the bottom. We have a 12 volt cigarette lighter style output at 8.3 amps. We have a 120 20 amp output, as well as a 120 30 amp output.
and on the end is the 240 output. And of course, we have all the associated circuit breakers to protect these outputs, as well as the inverter module. This machine, besides being pull start, is also electric start. So we need to plug in the battery before we can try this out. But that is a very nice feature. We also have a port here to keep the battery maintained. You know, we covered this already. That is the fuel selector switch. And up here, this is a status gauge. It's going to give us information about the machine and the load on the machine. Now, these items here, these are not common items to see on machines, and I actually really like seeing it. You know, this selector between 120 and 240 volt, and a lot of people kind of wonder, why would you need this? Why would you ever want to be in 120 only? And the reason for that is that, you know, if you have a 240 volt generator, you know, in this case, it's rated at 5,000 watts, you only have half the power on each 120 volt leg. So if you're running a large 120 volt load, you're loading up one leg and you only have access to half the power. And that is stressing out the generator, and likely you might not be able to do it depending upon how large that load is, how big the surge is. So if you run this in 120 only mode, now you have access to the full 5,000 watts on one 120 output. Of course, you still have circuit breakers to protect you, but if you're trying to start an air compressor that has a massive surge, you're going to need the full 5,000 watts to get it through that surge and get that thing up and running. And of course, you know, normally you would probably just run this in the 240 mode, but you do have this ability if you need it. The other great feature here that I haven't seen before is this 240 volt parallel connection. So usually on the 240 volt generators, they don't have the parallel capability. You only see that on the generators that have 120 volt outputs. This one, definitely a game changer, because this is a 5,000 watt machine. The other one's a 5,000 watt machine. You connect them together, you now have a 10,000 watt inverter creating clean, quiet power. So we're going to get both of these started. I have a light plugged into each so we can visually see that the engine's running and the inverter is outputting power. So we're going to let it run like that for about 20 or 30 minutes. I'm then going to put on about a 1,500 watt load on each and run it for an additional 1.5 hours, if not more, to complete the break-in process. So let's get the engine started. And we're just past the 3-hour mark, 3.2 hours. So at this point, we're showing half a tank here on the right and half a tank on the left. So I think we've run it long enough to break things in properly. So I am taking the loads off. I brought the oils inside just so you can get a better look without quite as much glare. Now, from looking at these two, I think you can see there is a difference. This one is lighter in color and that one is darker. This is the first one we drained from the tri-fuel machine, and this oil looks absolutely perfect. You would never know that this engine was just broken in. But the oil from the dual fuel, it is darker, and there is a hint of metallic and more typical of what you would see after an engine break-in. So that right there is the reason why you break an engine in and change the oil after only a few hours.